Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting of the City of Lenoir for Tuesday, January the 6th, 2026. That's interesting to say. It's a brand new year. Welcome. We're glad to have you. We hope that your new year came in well for 2025. Christmas went well for everyone. We wish you all the happy holidays. We're glad to be back and we're ready to start a new year as we move forward. So thank you for being with us tonight. As we always do, we start with a moment of silence and our pledge. And as we do that, I want to quickly say a few things. I want to thank all of our city staff for such a wonderful job during this holiday season. They just did an outstanding job with our Christmas, our decorations, and all the things that went on. We certainly appreciate everybody that did that. It's beautiful. I think everyone enjoyed it. Never went downtown any night that there weren't 10, 15, 20 people that were downtown enjoying our decorations and all the things that went on for Christmas. So thank you all for that. Thank you for all the work that you were doing to that. I would mention one thing. Our former manager, Lane Bailey's mother-in-law, Margaret, passed away this week, and we wanted to keep Lane and Ruth and their family in our thoughts and prayers as they deal with the loss of her mother. She was in her 90s, but she had some issues. But I talked to Wayne just before the meeting, and he said to tell you congratulations for sure. But yes, he lived here in Lenoir for a long time before they moved to Salisbury on that. So we'll keep them in our thoughts and prayers if you would. So thank you all for, oh yeah, and TJ, our attorney lost his father-in-law this past week as well, Reverend Hicks over in Morganton. And we certainly will keep you and your family in our thoughts and prayers. I know there have been some issues, but you're very welcome. Thank you for what you do with us, for sure. You're very welcome. Very welcome. So thank you for all of that. And again, will you please join us now for our moment of silence and our pledge. Thank you. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll get started tonight with a very special recognition. I'm going to come down for one of those nights that, well, I don't look forward to at all, but it's a bittersweet night that we come together tonight to say somewhat a very special thank you, and to a guy who's been a great leader in this community. 22 years, Todd Perdue has served on this city council as a public servant, a leader, an ambassador, a state leader, a community leader, a partner. He has served on nonprofit boards in this community. He's been a church leader, a deacon, and just the past deacon chair at the church. He's a family man, of course, father, grandfather, and this whole community loves Todd Perdue. And we will miss you for what you have meant for all of us. We keep you and your family in our thoughts and prayers. Catherine, for sure, as you know, we love her. We thank you for all that you have meant. But Todd, he has been a great friend, growing up here, High Brighton High School boy, sportsman, golfer. He's done it all. And he's been a great leader across all this time. So we will miss you. But first, I'd like to present you this resolution honoring Todd H. Perdue. Has served faithfully and diligently as a member of the Lenoir City Council since 2003, and served as Mayor Pro Tem from 2003 to 2007. And whereas, as an elected official, and while working in the insurance industry, Todd Purdue has devoted his time, his energy, his talents to the city of Lenoir and provided experience, sound judgment, and ardent support for the city while serving on various local, regional, and state committees, to briefly name a few. Caldwell Railroad Commission board member, Foothills Regional Airport Authority former member, First Baptist Church of Lenoir deacon and chair, Centennial Foundation trustee at the First Baptist Church of Lenoir, Helping Hands Clinic former chairman, Lenoir Rotary Club former officer and board member, the Lenoir League of Municipalities Tax and Legislative Action Committee, the North Carolina League of Municipalities Risk Management Board of Trustees, and whereas Todd Purdue has reviewed and deliberated on matters, facts, and proposals presented before the council in a fair and sound manner, and at all times keeping the best interests of the citizens of Lenoir as a first priority. And whereas Todd Purdue has worked consistently to further Lenoir's economic, cultural, and aesthetic development, as evidenced by the many successful projects accomplished during his tenure on City Council, including helping create and contributing to the City of Lenoir Greenway, working with the City Council on establishing long-term strategies and goals to ensure the fiscal strength and stability of the city. And whereas Todd Purdue submitted his resignation from City Council on November 4th, 2025, now therefore be it resolved that the Lenoir City Council in a regular session assembled this the 6th day of January 2026 hereby expresses sincere appreciation to our friend and colleague who through his excellent leadership and dedicated service to this city has earned respect and proudly made lasting contributions for the betterment of the city of Lenoir. And be it further resolved that I, as mayor, and by the virtue of the power and authority invested in me as mayor of the city of Lenoir, North Carolina, and on behalf of the Lenoir City Council and all citizens, do hereby extend our deepest gratitude and highest commendation to Todd H. Purdue for his dedicated and outstanding service this the 6th day of January 2026. One more thing to give you, and then I'll let you have it. This is the highest honor that we can give for service. It's the key to our city, the citizen, that you served all of our citizens and gave them everything you had. And for that, we thank you. Presented to Todd H. Purdue, City Councilman, in recognition of 22 years of dedicated and outstanding service to the City of Lenoir by the Lenoir City Council. Joseph L. Gibbons, Mayor, January the 6th, 2026. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome.
Thank you.
Come on up.
All right. You've apparently got a very long meeting tonight ahead of you, so I'll be very brief. But it has been my pleasure for the last 22 years to be able to represent the citizens of Lenoir as a member of the City Council. Wasn't my intention to quit after 22 years, but my wife's health needs kind of brought that to the forefront, needed to make that move, which was a literal move outside of the city to get in housing that was a little bit better for her needs at this time. So I left this council in great shape. You've added a wonderful member. I commend you for your willingness to serve on the council. I know you'll do great. I hear great things. I'm glad David Stevens is able to continue the 2 years that I had left on my term. That brings excellent knowledge and wisdom to this council. The thing I'll remember most about my time on council is how we got along. We never let politics or personal agendas get in the way of doing what was right for the city. I will commend the manager. He's been an excellent manager. I laugh about when Shirley was making her talk here, and she said she worked for so many managers, and Lewis was her favorite. But I will admit, and no offense to Lane Bailey, and no offense to Lewis Price, but Scott, you've been a pleasure to work with. You guide this council well. They're very fortunate to have you. Apologize for my voice, but it has been my pleasure. I look back with great memories. I know there's great things ahead for the city. and I'll be watching from the sidelines. So thank you all. Good Willis.
Ben, come on up.
Oh, you gotta have somebody hold your things.
Bring those over here.
Which one do you want to hold?
You're usually not on the,
I'm usually on the back row.
Yeah, for Lenoir. That's how I knew Ben.
All right, y'all look good. TJ and Scott, if y'all go this way a little bit. All right. 1, 2, 3, cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Everybody put your hands down unless you're holding something. There we go. 1, 2, 3, cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese.
Thanks for everything, guys. Oh, and department heads, you guys make this job up here so much easier. You guys are the best. Appreciate it.
very true, Todd. Have a good one. Thank you. As I say, that's always a tough thing. We hate to lose someone like Todd. He has been a great leader in our community. Still will be, but we've enjoyed having him here and all the things that he's done. All America City, I mean, we can name things that we have gone through over these 22 years. So thank y'all for that. All right, we will now move to our FY 2024-2025 audit report. We welcome our CPA, Cynthia Randolph, Cindy as we call you. We'll present our annual audit to the City Council, and a copy of the financial highlights ending in 2025, June 30, 2025 are included in our packets.
Correct.
Thank you. Welcome.
Woo, we made it. With the government shutdown, these audits were due December 31st, but with the government shutdown, the local government commission came in because you guys had a single audit. They had not approved the final compliance, federal compliance supplements that we have to go by to test programs. So now they've extended the audit's not due till February 12th of 2026. Why they chose the 12th, I have no idea. But anyway, we're here. I would like to thank the council, Scott, Donna, the staff for all their assistance and for allowing us to do the audit again this year. It's always a pleasure to work with Scott and Donna and all the staff there. They do a great job with finances of the city. The audit has been submitted to the Local Government Commission, and it was approved today by the Local Government Commission. They're a little behind the times with the holidays. I did issue an unmodified opinion, which is the normal type of opinion you'd want in an audit of your financial statements. The city, like I said, did have a single audit in accordance with the uniform guidance because federal funding, you guys spent over $750,000 in federal funding and over $500,000 in state funding. So it was a federal and state single audit. I did audit as a major federal program the Clean Water Revolving Fund, the Coronavirus State Fiscal Recovery Funds, and the Home Investment Program, Partnership Program. And for that was for federal purposes. For state purposes, I audited as a major program the PAL bill program, which is the street money, and then the State Capital Infrastructure Fund, your SCIF money that you had received. I will say, as of June 30th, 25, we did not have any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in compliance or in internal controls that needed to be noted in the audit. Okay, I'm just going to hit a few points. I know you guys are kind of busy. I think we've got a full schedule, so I'm going to hit just a couple things real quick. The city has seen, and some of this was written in the audit, so I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it, has seen several expansions over the past year, including, is it Excella? Is that how you say it? Excella Pharma Sciences, who is now one of your leading taxpayers for the city. Improvements have been made to the sections of the 13.5 mile of Greenway system. For the water and sewer operations, several large capital projects are in process, including the Finley Avenue Area Water Project and the construction of approximately 4 miles of 20-inch diameter water transmission main between the town of Valdez water system and the city's water system. As of the close of June 30th, 25, the city's governmental funds reported combined ending fund balances of $25,648,319, which was an increase from the previous year of $3,442,804. Approximately 85% of this total, or $21,742,551, is available for spending at the government's discretion. The city, as I just said, the city had 85% of undesignated fund balance as of June 30th, 25. The unassigned fund balance, now that was for your governmental funds. The unassigned fund balance for your general fund was $21,742,000, or 93% of your general fund expenditures. The city's debt decreased by $1,758,000 in outstanding principal, so you paid down that much in principal. Your total outstanding debt, and this is between the governmental funds and your business type activities, which is your water and sewer operations, was $18,212,000. And the city's legal debt margin as of June 30th, 25, $215,276,000. The city did maintain a tax collection percentage on your property taxes of 97.10%, which is right of the state average for all the municipalities. The water and sewer funds change in net position, or if you want to say net income, was $1,749,000. The total net position for your water and sewer, which is kind of like your retained earnings or your fund balance, was $62,088,666. So as part of submitting this audit to the Local Government Commission puts out a template, and it's through logos that we have to enter these numbers in, and everything has to reconcile, and then they look at it and say, okay, there's problem areas here that the city or the council or the staff will need to work on. I'm pleased to say that there were no financial performance indicators that I needed to make you guys aware of. That's one of the main things, is they said the auditors have to come before the board if they, what we call FPICs, which is financial performance indicators, we have to make you guys aware of that. And there was nothing of concern, which is really good, because there's some that are really, really not as well, not good. Okay, I'll hit a few more quick things real quick. I think Donna said she had given you in your packet. These are kind of financial highlights between the funds. I'm just going to hit a couple little numbers for you. And it's a comparison between 25 and 24, the previous year. Your general fund, change in fund balance, for 25, 3,399,204, which was an increase from the previous year of a little over 1.2 million. And that was for the general fund. Your general fund expenditures, total expenditures by department, they increased a little over $800,000 from the previous year. Mainly, I was looking at it today, mainly because of salaries and benefits increase, capital outlay increase, because we can't claim that as expenditures. Special revenue funds in the audit, these are your CDBG block grants, your home program. These are ongoing projects, and you budget for these, and they continue until the project's complete. So the change in the fund balance for your special revenue funds, which include a lot of little projects, it was a decrease of $394,036, mainly because we've spent money that has come in from like I say, these are ongoing projects, so we've spent this. Once the project's complete, we either turn around and capitalize it, or it's just complete and the money's been spent there. Your enterprise fund, which is your water and sewer fund, the change in net position or net income in that fund, a little over 1.7 million, which was an increase from the previous year of 597,000. So these are quick overview of some very, very large numbers. I will say the city is in great financial shape. As the council and the staff of the city, you guys should commend yourself for a wonderful audit year. Are there any questions, comments?
Any questions for Cindy or Donna, our finance director, either one, concerning any of our finances?
And not only do we look at numbers, and we're required to also test internal controls and processes, and looking at how payroll's processed, and nothing was noted that was out of the ordinary. That was part of the significant deficiency material weaknesses.
That's good to hear.
Yes.
Very good to hear.
Yes.
Even though the numbers that are on the page are mostly due to the lady you're seeing sitting on the front row
Exactly.
there.
She does a wonderful job.
But all of our employees.
That's right.
Take this very seriously.
They do.
And, if they see a place that they can save the city money, they do it. And we are very fortunate, from top to bottom, to have great employees
Right.
in the city.
And that's important these days, because it's hard to find people that have the knowledge and care about your organization like that.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Thank you, Cindy, for that great report.
Yes.
Thank you for your work on it. Donna, thank you and all your staff and all of our staff. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. You make things happen. You look for every way in the world to make it better and improve it. And Service Beyond Measure is jumping all over the place right now. So we appreciate that so much, and we're glad that things are moving in the right direction. Still got a lot of things to do, of course. There's a lot of projects out there,
Right.
but we'll just we got to keep moving forward, and that's a good thing. To be
Keep
able
growing.
to feel like we can. So if nothing else, then I will turn it over to council for any action that they would like to take concerning the acceptance of the annual audit.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we accept the annual audit for the year ended June 30, 2026. June 25, excuse me.
25,
Let's go ahead and
yeah.
accept next year.
Yeah, too.
You heard the motion from Councilmember Stevens to approve the annual audit as presented. Any other comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Safe trip.
Yes, thank you.
I'll turn it over to Mr. Hildebrand.
I would just like to echo her comments. I want to thank Donna Bean for her work. It's a lot of work, and I appreciate it, and also the department directors for the work you do, and our staff. as everybody said, without you folks, we wouldn't have this pleasing audit. So thank you.
Again, thank you very much for that. Okay, we'll move on to our agenda to matters scheduled for public hearings this evening. Our first one is a code amendment. This is an unauthorized or improper use of public places / trespassing ordinance. This is the second reading. The second reading and public hearing of an ordinance amending Chapter 13, unauthorized or improper use of public places, and Chapter 18, trespassing and prohibited activity under bridges and pedestrian underpasses of the Lenoir Code of Ordinances, clarifying its enforcement and penalties. This is of course, a matter scheduled for public hearing. So I'll open the public hearing up, and I will turn it first over to our police chief, Chief Andy Wilson, who's been working a great deal on this project for us, and his staff.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbons, council. The ordinance amendments before you tonight are intended to update our code, our current code, to just provide clear, consistent guidance for the use of public spaces across the city. This language in this ordinance amendment reflects input from legal counsel. It reflects regional partners, including the Western Piedmont Council of Governments Homeless Response Team, and aligns with approaches used by other municipalities in our surrounding neighboring jurisdictions. Section 1315 expands what was previously limited to parks and recreation facilities only, and has expanded to city properties, bridges, streets, and other similar public areas. It adds clear definition for camping, encampments, temporary shelters, and the storage of personal property, so enforcement is fair and consistent across the board. This ordinance also prohibits unauthorized obstructions and open flames on city property. The provisions regulate conduct and are focused on public safety, access, and health and safety concerns. So enforcement piece of this, the enforcement emphasizes voluntary compliance. Arrest is not our go-to thing. It never has been with things like this, and it won't be. Officers are authorized city employees and will generally direct individual just to stop the prohibited activity, right? And 9 times out of 10 that works. If that activity is consistent, what we would do is issue a notice of banishment, meaning they can't be back on that particular piece of city property. And what we have seen from experience is that overwhelmingly gains compliance. However, as a last resort, when all those things fail, obviously our next approach there would be trespass, either by General Statute 14.4, which allows us to charge under an ordinance, and/or a second-degree trespass. The Section 18.2, that is the trespass under bridges, and so that code amendment strengthens the safety rules for bridges and pedestrian underpasses, which obviously present a heightened risk or heightened sense of risk due to traffic, visibility, fire hazards, and flooding. As we saw during our past hurricane, one of our primary concerns were there any encampments or people staying under those bridges that may have not known that this flood was coming. And so the storage of property, obstruction, open flames in those areas under those bridges obviously will be prohibited, and the enforcement piece of that is identical to the Section 1315, which would seek to gain voluntary compliance with, getting their stuff and moving on. So overall, these amendments, the intended aim of these is just to keep our public spaces safe, accessible, and usable for everyone. And so if you've got any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions for Chief Wilson concerning this ordinance? At this time, anyway.
Just to clarify, Chief, if people were wanting to camp out at one of our parks, that would apply to them?
Sure.
So it's not any particular group?
No,
This cleans it up to say this is for everyone?
Sure, if someone decides that they want to have a barbecue at Zack's Fork, soccer complex, that's prohibited. If someone wants to camp at Martin Luther King Center, that's prohibited.
Or in the
It's-
woods, or
It's for any type of that use across all city properties.
city property? Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Any other questions before we do? Okay, we're in the open public hearing, so if there's anyone who would like to address the council concerning this public hearing, this is the time to do so. Please come forward and give us your name and address.
Yes, my name is Charles Senf. I'm at Happy Hollow Lane in Lenoir. I wish I had had the written comments of the police chief 2 weeks ago, and a little more detail on this. Some of the questions I have was, is there a list of the complaints about this that we've had? Is this an ongoing terrible, problem that we're having, that traffic is being impeded and the peaceful enjoyment of our public space is being impeded and so forth? Basically, I came and I didn't hear any of that before, I just read the ordinance. And so I came in response to your apparent advocacy of criminalizing the rational act of seeking shelter from the elements in our public spaces. An ordinance, quote, for the benefit of all residents and visitors, to quote the first whereas in the ordinance proposed. It appears we've got the wrong end of the stick. The crime isn't being without a house and financial reserves in our economy. That's a misfortune that can happen to any of us without warning. The crime is the failure of those we elected to deliver on the promises of our republic. The huddled masses we see scattered about the hottest country offer all the evidence of the crime we might need to convict. Representatives of residents and visitors should first be concerned with their failure to provide a safe haven for all who may come to Lenoir, regardless of their financial circumstances. We see you pleading later on in the agenda with the federal government for money to clean up the mess Broyhill left us when Broyhill left us for the greener bottom line. Broyhill doesn't need our largesse. But those folks we see struggling each winter along our roads and sidewalks as we go about buying stuff to celebrate the birth of Christ need help, not warnings, not fines, nor jail time. I suggest you postpone tightening up your ordinance and redirect staff to work on a solution that doesn't add burden to our police force or threaten the least of us in their moments of demonstrable need. Why not a handout and a hand up for our brother when he's down and out? As I was writing this, my wife said, why not a stable to sleep in? We build public parks and community centers to serve the property persons of the area so they might have a safe place to play pickleball. Why not some similar accommodation for those truly in need before devising regulations that they might innocently run afoul of, that would require the police to rouse them, move them on, confiscate their belongings, and our courts to fine or imprison them for failing to own, rent, or otherwise have legitimate access to what we consider a home. Let us share a little amazing grace where we can.
Thank you, sir. We certainly appreciate your comments. But I think she is next, Sharon.
Okay.
And
Sharon.
we know you, but please give us your name and address.
No, you do.
Well,
Sharon-
we have to do it for the
I
record.
know, no. Sharon Harmon. I am a lifetime generational resident of Lenoir, voter, taxpayer. I'm settled.
And your address, just for the record.
115 Hagler Road Southeast, Lenoir.
Thank you.
I'm also the executive director of Yoke Fellow, and I have to wear these to see, so I'm sorry. There's good people up here, good people in front of me. And as you know, actually, I want to go on record as saying there's two groups in this room that probably have more license to say anything about the homeless, and that would be Yoke Fellow and the police. And I commend our Lenoir police. They are wonderful to work with. They're effective. They're also compassionate. They're responsive. They help me with some decision-making because Yoke Fellow serves the homeless every day, all day. And it was funny that you mentioned Lane Bailey's name because Lane was the manager who came to Yoke Fellow and welcomed the first Leos into the gym. So Charlie Fry, Father Mike Cogsdale, and myself, we started the first Leos in the Lenoir High School gym. And we ran it from like December through the end of March. And then he came to the executive committee and said, "You guys want to build a shelter?" So Yoke Fellow said yes. So I proceeded as the director of Yoke Fellow to raise all of the money that it took to rehabilitate that building, from the heat pumps to the toilets to the ADA showers, towels, beds, cups, everything that was in that building, the security system. Yoke Fellow raised those funds to equip that building, and we opened the coldest day of 2014. I think it was like January the 4th. And we served there faithfully all of those years. It was a locally run, privately funded shelter. We ran Leos through the Yoke Fellow general operating budget, and we sheltered and provided shelter for up to 16 individuals 24/7. Most years, the budget never exceeding $80-some thousand, because the community was good to us in preparing meals and bringing food to Leos. There was a tremendous amount of community support. We served full-blown case management. In the later years, when we were having trouble getting some of our folks off the streets, we opened pure emergency shelter. Walk in, we did background checks, but that was pretty much it. Walk in, get on a cot, go to sleep. It was just complete, strip down, get on a bed and go to sleep, which is needed. But that is no more. This county, several years ago, had $4.4 million at the very onset of that fund, because Rick Oxford came and talked to me about that money during COVID. That money was made available to Caldwell, Catawba, Burke, Alexander, and specifically from HUD to serve the homeless. Those monies were turned over to Western Piedmont Council of Government, where a plan was developed. There is no money that has been set aside in that plan for forward-facing services to the homeless, and I know we have homeless outreach teams, but I have to tell you, I've been looking at the same faces for 15 years. There is no change in the homeless situation in Lenoir. I have not seen any homeless outreach activity here in Lenoir for months. And I received an email a couple weeks ago because we were actually, one of our homeless guys, his housing voucher came up. Well, guess what? They're very transient, and if you don't have a place to work with them and serve them consistently, so there's a housing voucher, but we can't find him now. So that is why there needs to be some kind of shelter, a day shelter, an emergency shelter, something where they land, where you can provide services. So there's a voucher out there floating around with his name on it. We just have to wait till he crosses our paths at Yoke Fellow. We don't see any change in the services, and it's getting worse. But I will tell you, the faces that I've seen, I see the same ones all the time. They're citizens just like me, because I've got their IDs. I have addresses. I have confidentiality forms. They have a yoke fella application with us. They're citizens, just like me. And I know it is a terribly aggravating situation. I would like to see a reporting of what the Western Piedmont Council of Government, I would like to see a physical, detailed report of what has been accomplished. I think it's 3 years in. From where we see it, we see nothing. We see nothing, and my guys, you know, the homeless outreach folks, they are very sweet, they are compassionate, but as my guys say, they're not doing anything. I saw them 6 months ago, and they promised me this. So even our homeless community, there's no relationship being built with them, so anything can take place. I have a congressional paper, because I read a lot. I read a lot. And there was a congressional paper issued several years ago admitting that chronic homelessness is the most divisive topic in every community in this entire country. The only solution is broad collaboration. Broad collaboration. And we don't have that. We do not have that. I hear that word thrown around a lot, but as the only agency that has effectively served the homeless since 2014, I don't know where the collaboration is. It is not there. You know, there are 60 people in this community, 60 citizens that need us. And I remember talking to Mayor Gibbons about this one night at Walgreens. I'm a longtime resident, and I love my city, I love my county, but I'm ashamed of us. There are 60 people that need us. 60. I don't know what their point in town, I don't know what their numbers come up with, but I know there are 60 people because I see them every day. I give them medicine, I give them socks, we provide everything for them at Yoke Fellow. We feed them every afternoon at 3 o'clock. So this community has always been outstanding in its service to those in need. We brag about having the first residential domestic violence shelter. We have the most wonderful inpatient hospice unit that is the best there is, and we can brag about that. You know, this community built the soup kitchen, built Yoke Fella, built Koinonia. But there's 60 people that need us, and we are just trying to find ways to get rid of them. And it's not working. It is not working. We're Lenoir, and we can do better than this. So thank you for your service. I do appreciate Western Piedmont Council of Governments. I really appreciate law enforcement. So do y'all have any questions for me?
Not at this point.
No.
We'll let Mr. Willis speak for Western Piedmont so we can have hear some other parts to it. Thank you, sir. Come on up. Give us your name and everything.
Sure.
We
Ben Willis,
Who are you?
Director of Community and Economic Development for Western Piedmont Council of Government, address 2650 Hillwood Drive, Lenoir, North Carolina. Also lifelong resident, generational resident of this community.
Yes, sir.
And Western Piedmont Council of Government, just so everybody knows, is we're more than just homelessness response team. So we have a planning department that works on things like zoning and code. We house the Workforce Development Board, which is for 4 counties. We do Alexander, Burke, Caldwell, and Catawba. So Workforce Development Board for all 4 counties. We also are a regional housing authority, which is so if you get your Section 8 vouchers, we have access to those. We are also coordinate that we're the area on aging, so your senior centers and all that stuff also run sort of through the Western Piedmont Council of Governments. We're sort of behind the scenes. Our goal is to assist all 28 local governments in all 4 of those counties. We're an extension of you and all the other governments in that. 375,000 people and 28 governments within our 4-county region. Homelessness is hard. This is very, very difficult work. Like Mr. Stiff said, how do you balance that compassion with what we have to do and what you all have to do at the local government level is protect taxpayer dollars who are funding parks and recreation centers and all those types of things. So it makes it tricky, and it puts everybody in a tough spot. The homelessness response team was formed was 3 years ago from a grant through HUD meant to address homelessness. And we reached out to all the nonprofits. We reached out to all 28 municipalities and asked you what you wanted and got feedback from the municipalities and nonprofits. And they asked us to form this. This is what you wanted, and this is what the nonprofits asked for. And this was the feedback that they gave us, and this was what the local governments asked us to do. The homeless response team, I've got 2 members of the homeless response team back there. We have an assigned member per county. And the goal was to be a bridge between some of the nonprofit entities that we have, church members, which are fantastic, law enforcement, huge partner, #1 law enforcement, and anybody else that's involved with the homeless population. The goal also too is to look at a regional approach to be able to see how we deal with homeless at different levels, right? Ultimately, we're not making the decision, you all are. You guys are the ones that have to make the ordinances based on your community, and every community is a little bit different. It's got its own feel, it polices it different. It's amazing how different. We've done ride-alongs with the Lenoir Police Department, all the police departments in all 4 counties, and how each one of these communities deal with homelessness is very different. I will say that the city of Lenoir is top-notch, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased and I'm from here. It really, truly is one of the best in the region about how they handle and work with empathy and compassion, but also within the realms of the law, to be able to protect the citizens and public space. We do work very close with Caldwell County and Lenoir. James Anders who's also in the audience, is our Caldwell County representative, who's here at least in Lenoir at least once a week. We have multiple calls. We're in the process of housing several people in Caldwell County and Lenoir, preventing them from going into homelessness. One was a resident we're working very closely with law enforcement who has been an issue that has come up recently that we found a house for today. So there is a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes, and there's a lot of individuals that we are able to help. But it's not just us. The Yoke Fellows of the world are a very important part of this. South Caldwell Christian Ministries, the faith-based communities. It's a very complex system. And we're also dealing within a system where we're dealing with a mental health crisis. We're also dealing with a substance use disorder. And we're dealing with rural. So rural homelessness is very different from urban. It's so spread out. And so you're not going to get rid of it, but there's ways to work and try to help as much as you can. It's a really, really tough spot. But one of the most important things in order to help and work together as a region is to have good data. So when we go and ask, the beauty of having a COG and the homeless response team do it at a regional level is that we can be regional. So if we can go about it at regional, a lot of nonprofits who have served on several nonprofit boards, and several of you have, you have to go and you go at it by yourself, and it's tricky. But when we work together as a region and can get the right data, then all the nonprofits can come together, and then we as a region can apply for large amounts of funding to be able to combat this. So it's a complicated issue. That's our goal. That's our mission. But ultimately, we serve the local governments, and we're at your will and do what you ask us to do. Amber Bradford is our new homeless response manager for the region. Our team brings a significant amount of experience. We work very closely with the school systems and homeless children and veterans. Any children or veterans that we see in the region get special treatment. We have special access to funds called Day One funds for women and children who are on the verge of homelessness. If you have anybody or know of anybody that needs access to that, please give us a call. You can go to homelessresponse.org or just look up Western Piedmont Council of Government and see it. We have comprehensive resources for each county for anybody looking for assistance. If you need assistance or if you have anybody that needs assistance, reach out to us and we will try to connect them with the resources available, Yokefella being one of them in the city of Lenoir. If you're in different parts of the county, we may connect you, depends on the issue. Everybody is different. Every homeless individual is unique and has a different set of circumstances and issues that we have to deal with. Some homeless individuals don't want help, and a lot of them don't. But the ones that do, we can help you. If you are having a drug issue and you want to get off the streets, we can find you a place to get you somewhere, to get you sort of transitional help. It doesn't make it easier. It's still very, very tough work. It does take all of us. Sharon, I agree with you 100%. It does take a regional play. It takes all of us to be able to do this. This is not something we're going to solve overnight. It's complicated, but we're trying, and we're working our best. And if there's anybody has any suggestions on how we can do it better, we would more than happy to sit there and with you. We're not in a silo. Our goal is to work with everybody. So we've always been open. If we need to come to your organization to talk about what we're doing, to present any information or data, we'd be happy to. I'm calling it out here in front of everybody. I can go into your nonprofit. We can go into your church. We can go to we've done Rotary meetings. We've had these type of conversations going over the data at this council, at the county commissioners meetings, across all four of our, so if anybody needs information and wants to learn what we're doing, we'd be happy to entertain an audience, whether it's one person or 50, 100. We even put on a seminar about warming stations at the Civic Center. This recorded, it is on YouTube, talking about warming stations. We had all the fire departments, we had all the code enforcement to talk about everything that went down, especially with Pastor Wilfong, who did a wonderful, wonderful thing, but ran up against several obstacles and issues. That has become a playbook for other churches and other people that are trying to figure out how to go into space, whether to do it or not, because it can get tricky. It can get really tricky, and you don't want to put your church or your people in your at your church in danger. So there's so much that goes on with this, and we're just here to say we're here to help any way we can, and whatever we can do, please just feel free to reach out. Homelessresponse.org is our website, and then all our contact information for our whole team is on there as well.
Thank you.
So, are there any questions?
Any questions of Ben or any of Western Piedmont?
With this particular ordinance, our planning department was involved in going over this. This mirrors some of the other larger cities in the region, so it matches with what that is with some of the other ones too. So that's kind of our involvement with this one. But again, ultimately, you guys, it's up to you for how we can. Please reach out if we can help in any further.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you for that. Anyone else that would like to address the council concerning this particular area? Yes, sir. Please, if you will, limit your comments for a while. We can't be here all night, so if you would make them quick as you can.
Marco Leonardo Cimbimuni, 105 Winchester Drive. Mayor Gibbons, may it please you, may it please the city of Lenoir, because I shouldn't be the one talking about this, but there are many folks who are struggling to find warmth in cold nights, who don't have shelter, who should be here. So I pray that my words suffice to speak their truth into your considerations, because I believe no matter how refined, how tight, how legally sound these ordinances may be, it can cause harm. And it will keep me up at night, and it should keep you up at night. No one dreams of holding a sign asking for help. No one plans to lose their home, stability, their dignity. As my friend Charles says, it's a misfortune that any one of us could have found ourselves in. It just takes few changes in our lives for us to switch places. And I want to tell you that if police have increased authority and presence, we blur the line between public safety and harm to folks who need us the most. Very quickly, I'll tell you, when I was at Chapel Hill, final season coming up, I went to a restaurant on Franklin Street, and there was a man who was bothering no one. He apparently had nowhere else to go. You can see he was wearing 3 layers of clothing, hair not in the best shape, but he wasn't disturbing anyone. Employee walks up to them, gives them a glass of water. A beautiful act of community happened right there in front of me. Staying while I eat, it was apparent the manager got complaints, asked him to leave, and then not even a minute, him going across the street, I see the flashing blue lights, 3 patrol cars. He was surrounded by officers for just walking out of the restaurant and apparently disturbing what definition of peace I can't fathom. And I saw the police handcuff him, sit at the curb, and this is on Franklin Street, busy on a Friday night, with the little bit of belongings he had right there beside him, and for everyone who's passing by, college age or resident, to look at him like a spectacle. I had to film the whole thing. I needed to protect him. That's the best I could do. One concern I have is that your proposal referenced recent Supreme Court decisions, but there's not one named. From my humble research, I believe it's referencing Grants Pass v. Johnson, 2024. Let me read you something very important from the dissent of that opinion. The city of Grants Pass jails and fines those people for living anywhere in public at any time, including in their cars, if they use as little as a blanket to keep warm or rolled up shirt as a pillow. For people with no access to shelter, that punishes them for being homeless. That is unconscionable and unconstitutional. Punishing people for their status is cruel and unusual under the 8th Amendment. My friend Mr. Willis said that Lenoir should be bragged about for empathy and compassion, but unconstitutional and unconscionable are the words that Supreme Court justices are labeling this case as being used to write your ordinances. Second, I believe I believe there could be a better recommendation, like a co-responder model, social workers alongside police departments. A lot of experts were on this. I'm just here giving my humble input. I'll tell you 3 instances that I found just from general research. In June 2023, WCNC Charlotte reported that the city of Davidson had their co-responder program. Police Chief Davidson said this, quote, "Just the mere presence of someone in uniform can sometimes make it somewhat a little more difficult for someone to interact with a police officer. There is a fear of police in some communities, and we need to be aware and sensitive to that." Police Chief. Apex, North Carolina has CART, Crisis and Advocacy Response Team. In their own description, the co-responder model helps deviate individuals with behavioral health challenges from the judicial system to resources they need. That ought to be our goal. No judicial system involvement. Services. Again, I understand maybe there's the urban versus rural in your minds. National Policing Institute, 2021 wrote, "Officers respond to an array of needs from the community, often working alone or side by side with another officer. However, at times, we must acknowledge that the partner they truly need does not actually need to wear a uniform. Frequently, a different set of skills and training are what is called for. Social workers. Months ago, you asked your people to give you input on Main Street. How can we make our city better? How can we do it? I call on you and I implore you to delay this vote. Vote no. Let the people do the same thing. Talk to your people. You've talked to experts, you've talked to 28 municipals, you've consulted with Western Piedmont, now consult the actual people. Let them give your input before you give your final vote. I'm a Christian man. My faith teaches me to never become an oppressor, for I too was once oppressed. But I look to my brothers and sisters who learn from the Torah that says that to save a life is to change the entire world. And I submit to you the reverse. If, God forbid, increased policing with those in need leads to a tragedy and a loss of life, to take a life is to destroy a world. So please, restraint, no. Let the people speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comment. Okay, we're still in the public hearing concerning this. So is there anyone else that would like to address the council at this time concerning this ordinance at all? Chief, anything else you need to add to?
don't have a record of people being arrested.
Not necessarily, unless you have certain questions for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Chief. I guess the question and comment, first questions, from the time I've been on the council, and it's almost, well, one will be 16 years, I don't know of a history from our homeless population that we've had massive arrest in that way. I don't think that's even been
No.
something that Lenoir small. Anything that's happening in that way, it's going to be heightened. I mean, that's not something we're hiding in that way.
No.
Do we have a history of that population connected to the bigger population that we're having major arrest? I don't know of that.
No, major arrests, no.
Or I don't, again, if there's things happening, people are calling us. I'm getting calls when certain things are happening. I don't get calls through the night about someone homeless has been picked up and harassed, and that's just my experience. And and I can say that for the time I've been on the council, so I'm just clarifying, there is a systemic issue that we're all addressing, but just to be clear, when we're comparing ourselves to larger cities, we're not saying this is not happening, but I don't see that as a systemic piece that's been brought to my attention or perhaps the council's attention.
Yeah, so as far as mass arrest, absolutely not. And the focus here is not arrest, right? That's a last resort.
Right.
That's not what this aims to be an enforcement mechanism. It's compliance.
Compliance.
No different than a lot of other issues that we deal with across either civil or criminal law within the city of Lenoir. No difference than the junk and debris that we enforce through civilly, through personal property. Would be similar to home city property.
Anybody else.
And so this necessarily isn't giving us authority to do things that we really can't already do. It's just clarifying it, not only for the
Right.
public, but for us to enforce. And so,
Can you, I mean,
Some
I
guidelines
think
for that.
that's need to be clarified.
Right,
You can do all these things today.
absolutely.
right.
This just cleans it up and clarifies it so it's very clear
Yeah.
to everybody, the officers and the public, what the policies and regulations are.
Sure. For our officers, it's telling us how we want it handled, and through compliance, through written notice of banishment if need be, and/or a last resort arrest. Nothing in this ordinance gives us more authority, more power, more presence than we already have. But it does detail better of what's expected and of the ordinance. And so, no, this doesn't give us anything more than we have today.
And my initial question when you came up before was if someone was camping out at the rec, at one of our recreation centers, we would use the same
Sure.
process of removing them so it's not an attack on homeless
This
or
has
anyone else.
absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you have a roof over your head or not. It just does not. And so, to comment on what Marco had said, I tell my officers,
Yeah.
look at our school kids. Not one of them wants to grow up and be homeless. Not one of them, right? And so we treat people evenly across the board. It does not matter if you have a roof over your head or not. And that's just our culture. That's what we do.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a couple comments.
Yes, sir.
So in November, I spent a shift with, I spent a shift with PD on a Friday night. And I was with PD for about 6 hours. And in that 6 hours, every call but one, we probably had 10 calls that I recognized coming through, and were reports of suspicious person. And the officer that I spent the most time with said that, the number of calls we now get for suspicious person is way up. And we've all seen the homeless population nationwide has grown. And there's a lot of factors for that. And as we approached each of those calls, the officer who's been trained specifically on dealing with the homeless population, his level of compassion, and his officers on his shift, their level of compassion for the human that they were dealing with was outstanding. And there was no need for a single arrest, because vagrancy, which is homelessness basically, is not a crime. In the state of North Carolina, that was repealed in the 1980s.
Right.
And so vagrancy itself, homelessness, is not a crime. And an example that I would like to give you is that this particular ordinance is specifically speaking to our outside locations, like our parks and rec, that are city property. And that city property is paid for with tax dollars, and all of us sitting here are tasked with the responsible spending of tax dollars and to protect the property that the taxpayers pay for. And another example is we see the park as an open space because that's what it's intended to be. But it doesn't mean that it's open all day long. So at night, I cannot go to the city hall and just walk in and sit in the lobby, because that's city property that closes at the end of the business day. The same thing happens with our parks and our greenway and any public property, public space. There is a time where it closes, or there is no need for someone to be there. And as a Christian, I feel the tug between what Jesus taught us and what the law and the taxpayers expect from government. The nonprofits that work on this problem, they are fantastic at getting things done. That government, it has so many restrictions and laws that it's extremely cumbersome that the nonprofits and the churches and the families out there that take in homeless people have always made this happen. Right now, it's a big issue because of the numbers and because of the coverage that we see in social media, regular media, and just our daily lives coming across people. And as much as my heart feels for those people, because I've had children at school that were homeless. I had 3 children at Collinsville that lived in a bus for over a year. But the government is not necessarily set up for some of these situations to be able to fix the problem. We can manage. And that's what this particular ordinance update is, to help us manage city-owned property, public spaces. This does not cover private property. So if someone is on your private property and you want to allow them to be there, whatever that private property is, that's a different situation. That's your business. If I want to let people, homeless people or anybody else camp out in my front yard, that's my business, as long as there's not an illegal act happening. And so this is about public spaces and public tax dollar protection. This is not about harassing or going after people because they have had a really hard road in life. And I've seen it as a teacher, and my heart goes out to those situations. And there are times through my church or through my work over the years that I have tried to help that situation privately. Government's not really set up for that, especially small-town government. So I'd like to commend our police force for their compassion and how they handle that. I know Chris Bumgarner has done a lot of training on that. All of our upper echelon officers have tried to really make that a point, that we are dealing with human beings, regardless of all the details around them. We're dealing with human beings. And I really think that there's a little bit of disconnect with the understanding of this ordinance purpose. Its purpose is to protect taxpayer dollars and make sure that everybody has a safe experience in any of our public buildings, public spaces. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else would like to address the council concerning this public hearing, concerning this code amendment? Yes, sir.
So originally I wasn't going to talk about this. My name is Emmanuel Lazo.
Thank you. And your address, please.
1601 North Main Street.
Thank you.
You know, the mechanic shop. I've seen half of you all over there. So sorry, I'm nervous. I wasn't planning on talking about this. But my question always becomes, whenever I'm hearing all of this, because I used to go out in the parks a lot and talk to people in the recreation center and see the homelessness. My question is, what do you do after you tell them to leave? When they don't have a home, what happens when you tell them to leave? Where else do they go? Are we informing them about the things that we have for them? Are we telling them what they can do? I've seen child homelessness. Not personally, but I've seen it when I went to the park and I would see the kids coming out of those ramps because I used to skate.
That was what Mr. Willis has addressed. We give them that guidance when they're asked to go, and you have these opportunities that we can give you to do that. I guess Yokeville and other places that you can talk to about trying to get certain help.
Yes, but I'm wondering if putting more burden on the police to really clarify all this and try to put as much as we can on the police, could we not give that work more towards social service workers who have those connections to be like, hey, we could take you to Yokefellow. We could take you to these nonprofit organizations that can help you with your homelessness problem. Better get that connection between those two groups. It's not that I don't want police officers to do their job. It's more that I want to make sure they're doing the job that we need them to do, protecting us from actual disturbances, not suspicious persons. A suspicious person is just a person you don't know. And I'm wondering if we could have the compassion to send out those social workers to get them connected to where they can go, you know?
All right.
That's all. Again, I didn't really have much planned for conversation.
Thank you.
So
Well,
good
we
news.
appreciate
It was short for you guys, because I know there's a long conversation
Right.
even more after this, so.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate your comments very much.
Appreciate you too.
Okay, last call. Anybody else that would like to speak concerning that? Okay, I will close the public hearing and turn it over to council for any other discussion or motion whenever you're ready concerning this code amendment.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we approve the ordinance amendment as presented.
Have a motion from Councilmember Beal that we approve the code amendment as presented by the staff tonight concerning this. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for your, Chief, for your work and all on that and everything that is being done. We appreciate that. All right, our second public hearing tonight is a U.S. EPA Notice of Intent to apply for a brownfield cleanup grant. This will be used for the environmental cleanup of the old Brawl Hill site that is located at 1429 College Avenue Southwest, parcel number ID number 2749445-311. I will open the public hearing and turn it over to Mr. Radford Thomas, who used to be with the city of Lenoir and now is our brownfield expert. How about that?
I don't know about that, but we've spent a lot of time and a lot of good money helping out
Yes,
our
sir.
community with these programs. And first, I want to clarify one thing. We are actually applying for 2 grants this year. One is to finish cleaning up the old Broyhill property that the city now owns. The other is another assessment grant that we can use to help our local businesses and individuals understand exactly what they may be dealing with in order to market their property, know what they have to do so we can get it back into usefulness in our community. So that's our intentions. We did speak to you on October the 7th, I believe it was, kind of gave you an idea of what our plan was for the Broyhill site, the options for cleanup. And this time was duly advertised in the newspaper as a period of public comment. Someone wanted to come and speak to that. The grant applications that we're making, and we also have the public comment period will be open up until a week before the due date for these grants, which is January the 26th. The assessment grant, I'm going to let Greg Eisenhower, our environmental consultant, speak to you about the current status of the grant applications for just a minute, and then we'll see if anyone has any comment. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, members of council, for those of you I've met, it's good to see you again. For those I haven't met, my name is Greg Eisenhower. I am Vice President and Principal Geologist with Mid-Atlantic Associates in Charlotte, and I have been fortunate to be your environmental consultant over the last number of years through 2 assessment grants that we were able to acquire for the city. As Radford said, this year is a little different in that this is the first time we've had the opportunity to apply both for an additional assessment grant, which will keep our brownfields initiative moving forward with other properties that have been identified as we've gone through the first 2 grants, as well as a cleanup grant to address the remaining issues at the Broyhill site. And the goal of any of these programs is to try to put these properties back into economic reuse. And the Broyhill site is probably the closest site that we have to being able to do that, but there are some challenges, and hence the cleanup grant. The statutory requirements for this particular grant are a little bit different in that you do have to have a public hearing for it. In terms of the status, in this particular case, the government shutdown actually helped us because we were able to move forward and using last year's guidance to get a head start on our grant. So the assessment grant is essentially done. We're going to have one more round of review. The cleanup grant should be in draft form within the next week. And again, as Radford said, we're in good position. These grant applications seem to always come down to the wire for some reason. This year, fortunately, will not be the case. We're ahead of the game, and we see no difficulties with getting both of these grants applied. In total, the grants would mean an additional $1 million worth of brownfield-related funding for the city of Lenoir.
Sounds
And I'm
great.
happy to address any questions or concerns you might have.
Just interested that you were the only person I've ever heard that the government shutdown helped.
Well, it helped us because you get such a short window. You typically have about 60 days between the time they actually give you the guidance, and the grant deadline, and it's just typically not possible to do it. So you really have to fudge, kind of hedge a bit, kind of guess at what they're looking for, and at least try to get something outlined to give you a little bit of grace there towards the end.
Okay,
Is there a
Yes.
timeframe of how long that would take?
One of the things that we did as part of this process, you have to supply to EPA what is called an assessment of brownfield cleanup alternatives, where you look at what your options are. One of the things that we did that didn't involve EPA grant funding specifically was the city was able to get an ARC grant, which the city matched, to help remove a good portion of the debris that was left over. In looking at what remains, we think there is a cleanup alternative that would not involve the expense of having to remove it. We've had, there's other communities that have essentially been able to successfully apply for and get what amounts to kind of an on-site landfill to put inert debris. So, and that's what we have left at the Broad Hill site, a lot of brick and just material that is expensive to haul because it's so heavy. So we have a process whereby we think there's an opportunity to actually use that material on site kind of as beneficial fill to level out the site and make it a little more attractive to developers. So, and it would avoid the expense. We spent over, I think, $550,000 removing, I think, around 7,000 cubic yards of material, and there's probably 4,000 to 5,000 cubic yards left. We don't want to replicate that expense if we can avoid it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Bradford, you
Appreciate
have
it.
something else? Or okay, okay. Thank you. All right, we're still in the public hearing. Was there anyone like to address the council concerning this notice of intent to apply for the brownfield cleanup? Yes, yes, ma'am.
Martha Lazo, from 1601 North Main Street, my husband's shop. I don't like giving my address anyway, so anybody knows where I live.
Yes.
But I'm very happy with Brownsville. Not only helped me when I got my building here in Main Street, I also refer them to other people. They don't speak the language, but they have helped them too. So that's a help. I mean, they really help me and they help other people that I could send to them. So they've been very helpful for the community. So I wanted to address that, you know.
Thank you.
I wasn't coming for that, but hearing them, I know how they do help the people and help our community, because I'm one of them.
We appreciate that. very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to address? All right, I will close the public hearing then, turn it over to council for, no action. I turn it over to council for no action. We'll just move on and apply, give them the, go ahead and
Go
apply for it. We appreciate that. All right, we'll move on then to our consent agenda items tonight, consisting of minutes of the city council meeting of Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Item B is a resolution. This is a approval of a resolution in honor and recognition of Councilmember Todd Perdue, dedicated and outstanding service to the city council, the city of Lenoir, and its citizens have submitted. Item C is an acceptance of an offer to purchase real property and a notice of an offer to purchase real property. This is for 1340 Fairview Drive Southwest. Marcus Sims has submitted an offer to purchase 1340 Fairview Drive, owned by the city of Lenoir, in the amount of $13,000 plus advertising cost. That's North Carolina PIN number 2748563-698 and tax ID number 06184-1-7 as submitted. Staff has it advertised in the news topic, an upset bid period as required by the North Carolina General Statutes number 160A-269. The required 5% bid deposit has been received and no upset bids were received on this project. Project D is project bid award. This is for Lenoir Greenway Phase 2 approval.
Gateway.
Getting tired. Gateway Phase 2, approval to award the contract for the Lenoir Gateway Phase 2 to the lowest responsible bidder, Right Light Signs Incorporated, for $414,772 as submitted. Right Light Signs Incorporated is also the contractor for the ongoing Lenoir wayfinding project. Item E is the Findlay Area Water Systems Improvement Project, proposal for the Bonnell Lamons Engineering, BLE, to perform construction material testing services with anticipated cost of services of $27,585. The total project budget after bids included a line item budget of $80,000 for these services as submitted. Item F is a code amendments. This is for Chapter 4, Article 4, Buildings and Building Regulations, Non-Residential Buildings or Structure Standards, and Chapter 10, Minimum Housing Standards, first reading. First reading of the ordinances amending Chapters 4 and Chapter 10 of the Lenoir Code of Ordinances related to non-residential buildings or structured standards and minimum housing standards, and authorizing a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, January the 20th, 2026, for the second reading of these ordinances. That is your consent agenda A through F. I will now turn it over to council for any question, action, motion, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through F as presented.
We have a motion from Councilmember Thomas that we approve the consent agenda item A through F as presented. Any discussion, question? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is requests and petitions of any citizens. If there's anyone who would now like to address the council again, this is, first time, this is the time to do so. Please limit your comments to several minutes, if you will. We would certainly appreciate that.
Charles Senf, Happy Hollow Lane, Lenoir. I just wanted to take notice of the date. A day, to quote Franklin Roosevelt, that will live in infamy. We gather today on the anniversary of an assault on the capital of the United States. And I would suggest that we might the council might consider some sort of a resolution on this date going forward, acknowledging the fact that we came so close to losing our rights and our citizenship. I got off my track. I had some written remarks here, but we have commissions and all over that regularly proclaim their support for law enforcement on Veterans Day and Memorial Day and closing offices on Christmas and Easter. But there isn't even a murmur about the significance of this date in American history, much less a proclamation of principle. Shame on politicians who easily cater to the fears of their base instead of offering a brighter day, a better way toward fulfilling the best hopes of the better angels among us. What happened on that day was the culmination of a sore loser's blatant conspiracy to overturn an American election. The abomination was further compounded by issuing blanket presidential pardons to all those charged, as well as those who pled guilty or were convicted by a jury of their peers. The world can never forget what they did there. And to quote a president we can all appreciate and support, I actually probably paraphrase, it is rather for us the living, we here be rededicated to the task remaining before us, that this government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from this earth. A resolution to that thought might be appropriate for this council to adopt going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate your comments. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Yes, sir.
Thank you. A friend of mine wanted to speak, Pastor Ivan de la Cruz. So if I may, I'm going to read his words that he would have run to you. But he's a pastor. He had to go. He had an important matter at his church. His words read, "Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Pastor Ivan de la Cruz. I serve a church and families here in Lenoir and the surrounding communities. I am here today not as a politician, but as a pastor, someone who walks daily with families who are deeply affected by current immigration enforcement practices. For us, immigration is not a policy debate. It is a human reality. I sit with parents who are afraid to drive their children to school. I pray with families who sleep with fear, wondering if today is the day they are separated. I counsel children who worry more about losing their parents than about their homework. Fear has become part of daily life for many in our community. This fear is not creating safer neighborhoods. It is creating silence, isolation, and trauma. People stop reporting crimes. They avoid hospitals. They stop attending church. They withdraw from community life. As a pastor, I see the emotional and spiritual damage every week. Children are especially affected. Many live with constant anxiety, afraid that a parent may not come home from work. This kind of fear leaves lasting scars. These children are not threats. They are students, sons, and daughters of this community. As a Christian leader, I must also speak from my faith. Scripture teaches us, Matthew 25:35, I was a stranger and you took me in. This does not mean ignoring the law. It means applying the law with wisdom, dignity, and compassion. We recognize the importance of order and security, but enforcement without humanity breaks families, weakens trust, and harms the very communities it seeks to protect. Immigrant families in Lenoir are not outsiders. They work, they contribute, they support local businesses. They help build this community. When fear drives them into hiding, our entire community pays a price, socially, economically, and morally. Today, I'm not asking for chaos or open borders. I am asking for humane enforcement, family unity, and policies that consider the real human impact. Every generation is remembered not only for the laws it enforced, but for the compassion it showed. I stand here carrying the voices of many who are too afraid to stand here themselves. I ask their humanity be seen, their families protected, and their dignity respected. Thank you for listening. May wisdom and compassion guide us forward. The words of Pastor Ivan de la Cruz.
Thank you, sir.
Again, Marta Lasso, 1601 North Main Street. As you guys know, I'm very strong with the Hispanic community. I also have a nonprofit that I opened back in 2010, Concilio Hispano, when I was working in the social service department for almost 10 years, when I decided to open my own business. And that's what happened. And I sent Concilio Hispano to Charlotte and North Carolina because I didn't saw the support here. Concilio Hispano is still open, but it's between North Carolina and Charlotte and South Carolina instead of their hometown where I opened it when I came 20 years ago here. I opened it for our community, but I didn't saw the support, so I took it away. What for if no one cared? But now I see that I have to bring it back, and we have to get united. So I'm not here to argue or anything, but I see the hurt in my community. I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay. Take your time.
They're coming to me crying, scared. They're afraid. They don't know what to do. Their pastor don't know what to do. I certainly don't know what to do neither. All I can do is help him what I can help him with. And I have to say, my community, stand up. Even though they know that I had a concilio, other nonprofit that knows me, reach out to me, and they have helped me. Churches have helped me. So they have came and brought me food because they don't even want to go to work. They're afraid to go to work. They're afraid to go to school. They're afraid to go to the doctor. They're afraid to do anything. So they're hiding in homes. Days, weeks since that happened, they're coming out from homes. So I don't know what you guys, I know this is hard for you guys because it's not your decisions. Like I told my son and him, it's not their decision because this comes from the federal, you know? But we need to do something for our community because they're all hiding. They're afraid. So sometimes I go to my office and other communities comes and leave me food and leave me clothes and leave me even cash to help this other community. So I share it with other churches. I need to do something. I don't know what, but I need to put something together for our community, a safe haven for them. So I'm planning to bring Concilio, like I told Krista, I need to bring it back, find a way for them to have a place where they can go and feel safe. They don't even go to Yoga Fellow, they don't even get assisted. Me working at the social service, to be honest with you, they're the least of the people that come and get help, to be honest with you. They're hardworking people, very hardworking people. What they're hurt is because they went to the schools, they went to the churches, they went to the, and that hurts. What are they doing in Windmill? Windmill Elementary School, what are they gonna find there? Parents? Traumatized kids? Really? Going to the churches, pastors? Honestly? I'm okay, I'm 100% when you have to deport people. If, I'm the first one who put, I will report them, but not these people. These people are hiding. Kids don't want to go to school. They decided not to go to school, a lot of them. And I'm happy. Now I know them since they were young. They're kids. I mean, I know him since they were kids. And now look at what he's doing. He's trying to become an attorney. I'm so proud that I have a couple of the young ones that are coming attorney, and they want to come back to our community. I brought my son back. He has a degree. My son has graphic design. They're trying to come back to our community. Why not embrace them, and make our community grow? We have to live together, Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Martha.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hilda Granado from 1302 Harper Avenue. I am brand new in Lenoir. I decided to bring my small business to Lenoir from Charlotte, North Carolina. I live in Charlotte. But being here for 3 months, I get in love with Lenoir, even though I drive every single day. I don't care. Lenoir is a place who I can feel the welcome. And some of you, and I saw someone today, they've been eating on my place. I have a tortilla place.
Very good.
It's an organic tortilla that I brought through Lenoir. And it was my husband's dream. My husband is native Mexican. I am from Honduras. I came when I was 11 years old, and it wasn't my decision to come to United States. My parents, as missionaries, they saw a girl who had 11 siblings living in a one-room bedroom home. And I was a pretty good, smart girl at school with the type score. But I did not have the chance to continue my education because my parents were so poor. And I am so grateful. And I get emotional because no other kids had the same opportunity as I had. And I flew, and it was my first time coming into an airplane to United States. And the love that I received on my Church of God, it was tremendous. Someone gave me clothing, shoes, a calculator, because I was going to attend a private school, and I was a Christian school. And then I feel the love. And I don't care about material stuff. I feel what the warmth that I feel, which I have on my country. And it wasn't my decision to come here. And today I'm here because my husband and I, we built 3 businesses. I've been in the real estate business for 17 years. I create a women group. We are 40 women investing in real estate for over 2 years. My husband and I, we have a remodeling company for 20 years. My husband is still waiting for a green card. And I'm here to speak for my community because I became American a long time ago. And I came to be part of America when America was welcome, the Hispanic community, where they didn't care about my color. But what happened during this time of the year, at the end of the holidays, seeing the enforcement law, which we call ICE, harassing the community, it was insane. And that was not the America I know when I came here when I was very young. And my son, my 3 kids, they are America. This is the only country they know. And my husband is still waiting for a green card after he's been here for 25 years. The only thing I want to request tonight is you guys have more compassion for my community. Because now the law enforcement is going for the color. And I get stopped by a highway patrol the other day. And I still have to go to court. You know why? Because I was driving on Highway 21. I don't know, because I'm not used to Lenoir. And he saw me right there on the light. I was right by him. And he let me run like 2 miles, and then he stopped me. And when he stopped me, I said, "Hello, sir, why did you stop me? I didn't do nothing wrong." And he looked at me and he said, "Do you have a driving license?" And I looked back at him and I said, "Yes, I do have a driving license." And he said to me, "I stopped you because you were running 82 miles. And I said, "Excuse me, there is 3 different lights and I can't run 82 miles. But you know what I learned that day? He stopped me because he saw me that I was Hispanic, because he saw I did not have a driving license. That's what he was thinking was right there in the moment. So tonight, I want to present myself with you, and I wanted to say that I'm so grateful to be in Lenoir with my tortilla place. And I want you guys to think for a moment. What is going on through my community is insane, and that's not the America that I know for years. And you guys are being so generous to let my community grow up here. And I learned that Lenoir got between the 13 and 27% of Hispanic community here. And they deserve love. They deserve to be welcome because we come here to make America great, not to destroy America, because that's me. I built three businesses that I give job to other people who need it. And I understand you guys need to enforce the law, and I'm okay with that. But we need to have more compassion. And I wanted to thank you, Lenoir, for giving me and my husband the opportunity to have this business. And I wanted to thank Martha and everyone who have been giving me a lot of love. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We appreciate that. Anyone else? I was going to ask you how many speeches you had tonight.
I know, right? Mayor Gibbons, Mayor Pro Tem Perkins, council members, and may it please the city of Lenoir. I remember a day I was here, and I was gracious of y'all to let me speak briefly, and in that, I gave my sincere promise to leave study at Chapel Hill and come back to Lenoir. Lenoir is where I was born, that raised me, and I'm proud that it is my home. I'm so happy and blessed that my parents found this place. My parents are immigrants from Peru. they escaped when shining path was in their wrath. And my father, when I was in middle school, I don't remember the conversation, but he told me that the greatest thing about this nation is that you can walk up to the White House, you can shout your frustrations in open air, you can even curse the president, and not a single person can lay a hand on you. But I am very scared because if I say anything negative, it could be me or my family that could be kidnapped. Just anything that could be seen as negative. In Morganton, I was stopped at a checkpoint and the cops asked me, "You speak English?" How was that going to help if I actually didn't speak English? I just practiced my constitutional right to not say a word, and they still egged it on. I gave them my license, and when they called it up saying check of citizenship, seriously, I gave you my license, isn't that enough? All of this is because we're living in the end result of weaponized nativism. This is not new. But I want to be clear. I'm coming to you to be political, but I'm not going to be partisan. That's what's poisonous now, is that immigration is weaponized in partisanship. But it has to be political. It is our way of life. Our lives are political. So I want to give you some options that I hope you can accept and take. Like, you can pass resolutions and ordinances to limit cooperation with ICE. You can fund Know Your Rights workshops. Arm your people to protect themselves against federal law enforcement. Create advisory boards with undocumented immigrants on them. Give them a seat at the table. Warn the community if ICE is on their way. Support immigrant-owned businesses. Give them patronage. This is why all this is urgent, is because last year, the Supreme Court, I'm going to go brief on this, decided Vasquez Perdomo v. No. Here's what the majority wrote. Apparently, ethnicity alone cannot furnish reasonable suspicion. I think the police chief will agree with me on that. It's good so far, but it went the opposite way. The majority wrote, however, it can be a relevant factor, ethnicity, a relevant factor when considered along other salient factors. That's why there's increased discrimination amongst ICE. That's the translation for you. That it is now legal for ICE to detain anyone for being brown, speaking Spanish, talking English with a Spanish accent, or appearing to work a low-wage job. Here's the dangerous part, is because the people who were pushing this was the Federation of American Immigration Reform. They filed an amicus brief, and they are a hate group designated by the Southern Poverty Law Center. They have documented ties to white supremacist groups. And here are their words. By enjoining the government from relying on 4 factors that obviously are probative of reasonable suspicion, especially to those with the specialized knowledge officers possess, the district court flipped the reasonable suspicion standard. And they continued, even those with a cursory knowledge would reasonably suspect that persons meeting the district court's 4 factors, speaking Spanish, looking brown, appearing to work a low-wage job, are illegal aliens. That reasonable suspicion standard demands no more. So what's the translation? They asked the Supreme Court to say that looking brown, speaking Spanish, working a low-wage job is enough to detain them. And that's what the Supreme Court delivered. That is the reality. That's the law of the land now. So I come to you, City of Lenoir, to say, what are you going to do? Because if the state fails to protect us from the federal government, and the county is going to fail in that mission to protect us, it rests in your hands. That is the trend. The federal government doesn't want to do efficient immigration enforcement. They want it down to the states, to the local governments. Show me your papers laws in Arizona. I think you remember those. Representative Destin Hall's bill, now passed into law saying that all sheriffs must cooperate. All of this has remained clear, that you may feel that you do not want to get involved in federal politics, but is no longer the option. When hate groups are designing these rules, we all need to be concerned. We all need to act. Police can arrest ICE officials. I believe that your model of protecting and serving should apply to protecting and service everyone here against an overreaching federal government. They can warn us if ICE is coming. If you read the Lenoir news topic, there was a story, Sarai Padilla. She was seeking asylum. She was doing things the right way. And she was taken from us by ICE. She did everything the best she could, and that wasn't enough. So if everyone who's following the rules can be taken, we need someone to trust. That's what City of Lenoir can do. Silence, inaction, they're choices that I pray you don't take. So if you say, this is all complicated, where do we start? It's not complicated. Start somewhere. Start anywhere. Start yesterday. Like I told you, you can pass a resolution establishing city employees and resources to not be used for federal immigration law. You can fund Know Your Rights workshops so that our people can be prepared. You can create a community advisory board that includes undocumented residents, give them a voice. Establish policies that requires any federal agencies that want to come here, you better show us warrants. You better show us your justifications. Tell Lenoir Police Department to warn the community. Give public support to immigrant-owned businesses. Your dollars, grants, scholarships, the list goes on and on. I'm not asking to solve immigration. I'm not asking that. I'm just asking to protect the constitutional rights of people here, families like my own. Declare without fear or hesitation that all persons in Lenoir have the right to live here with protection. Everything you do right now, it's going to matter. So my final words to families like my own, immigrant families, mixed status families is what we're called. El terrorismo no existe en nuestra sangre. Quedamos aquí y no nos vamos a mover. Y tenemos derecho de este pueblo junto con los demás. To the City Council, in the name of God, do your duty. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Certainly appreciate that. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. One more.
Don't worry, I'm the shortest.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, shortest in speech, tallest in height. Hello, my name is Emmanuel Lazo. I already put this in, sorry, I have to go by my script, or else I'm going to start moving my lips too much. Hello, my name is Emmanuel Lazo. I work out of 1601 North Main Street of Lenoir. Today, we showcased how ICE has affected our community negatively, how it's limited our ability to work, how it's reduced the amount of ability for us to be members of the community. We know they left, but we know they'll come back in the future too. There are measures that this city council can take to protect the people of Lenoir. And these aren't, these don't require funding, these don't require anything. This requires just cooperation. By declaring the city as a Fourth Amendment workplace, which will protect city property from unnecessary search without warrant, allowing the community to go to city properties like we were talking with rec centers and stuff like that, and at least give them some semblance of normalcy. And training these same city council workers in their rights and what they can do to protect the immigrant community. It's not something impossible. It was done in Durham, North Carolina. It's literally writing pieces of paper, nothing more. Work with community organizers like Concilio Hispano when we bring it in to help us whenever they do come back again to better organize for giving people who are trapped in their homes basic necessities. Again, that doesn't require money from you, it just requires cooperation. And like you said, pushing Know Your Right campaigns through workshops, let that be from local nonprofit organizations, or if you guys want to yourself open those workshops for us, we would also appreciate that. And just represent all of us equally. Don't represent who is only who you think is a citizen, but also the ones that aren't, because they are community members just as much as the citizens that are here. We want you to create with us a Lenoir that is safer and stronger. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move on tonight. We do not have any reports of our boards and commissions. We'll turn it now to the report and recommendations of our city manager, Mr. Hildebrand.
Mayor, council, some highlights coming up for you. The East Harper Streetscape meeting will be scheduled for tomorrow evening from 5:30 to 7:30. And that's going to be held at the old American Trading Pond at 532 Harper Avenue. So I encourage people to stop by for the drop in there to look at some of the plans that have gathered so far for that and give your input. Curbside Christmas tree recycling is underway, started today, and will go through Friday, January 30th. The Lenoir Business Advisory Board will meet on Thursday, January 8th at 5 o'clock. It's a training session, third floor City Hall. The City County Service Committee will meet on Monday, January 12th at noon at J. Broyle Civic Center. The Economic Development Advisory Committee will meet on Tuesday, January 13th, 8:15 a.m., and that's at the J. Broyle Civic Center. The ABC Board will meet on Thursday, January 15th at 2 o'clock. The city also will be closed on January 19th in observance of the Martin Luther King holiday. And I know some folks, there's some events going on with that. That'll be on our website. And due to time, I'll let Joshua note those on the website so people can go to the website to see what activities are taking place on that day. Also, the city will have their planning retreat on Friday, February 6th at 8:30 a.m. at Blue Ridge Energy Meeting Room. And lastly, I just want to go back and recognize Hannah Williams, who graduated from the UNC School of Government Civic Fellows Program, and just want to say thank you. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions of the city manager? Okay, we'll move on then. Any report from our city attorney tonight, Mr. Roy? Thank you very much. I do have a report from the mayor's office. We have a couple of appointments to be made. One is an appointment to the Greater Hickory Metropolitan Planning Organization Transportation Advisory Committee called TAC, which is part of the Western Piedmont Council of Governments. And our recommendation is for Mr. Councilmember Jonathan Beal to serve in that seat. We have had discussion and he has agreed. So I twisted his arm, but he said he would do it.
That's a good one.
That's a tacky one, yeah. And to the Caldwell Railroad Commission, which is back being reopened, I think, to some degree, that I would recommend myself to fill that unexpired term of Todd Perdue. I have served as ex officio to that. Councilmember Stevens also serves on that committee, so I would make that recommendation since I've already served on it and I'm very familiar with it, that I would just take that spot for Todd's seat on that one. So I present those to you for your recommendation and approval, if you will.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I will approve those recommendations as presented.
Have a motion from Councilmember Thomas to approve the recommendations as presented, those appointments. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed. Thank you. And let's see, we do have a closed session. On top of that. All right. We have a closed session, and we'll enter into closed session tonight to North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11, subsection A, subsection 4, to discuss matters involving economic development, and under North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11, subsection A, subsection 5, to establish or to instruct the public body staff or negotiating agents concerning the position to be taken by or on behalf of the public body in negotiating the price and other material terms of a contract or proposed contract for the acquisition of real property by purchase, option, exchange, or lease. So I'll open up for a motion for go into closed session. Anything to come out? Nothing will come out of it after we meet. Got a motion to go into closed session by Councilmember
Read that again, please.
Presswood. As the motion presented, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed. We're in closed session. Thank you. When we come back out, we will go home. Mayor Pro Tem, whatever your name is. Perkins. Mayor Pro Tem Perkins. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed. We're out of closed session. Anything else to come before us?
Ask your question, Ralph.
You want to ask your question now?
What?
One you were asking in there.
Oh, no, I know enough now.
Okay. All right, nothing to come before us. This meeting is adjourned.
Hold on.